Following the PowerPoint, you will be required to complete a quiz in order for your team to complete the pre-registration process. As a captain, it is your job to relay all information to your teammates. It is also your responsibility to make sure that all participants are responsible for the rules and the intramural sports policies posted on the IM League's website. Ignorance of the rules is not an excuse for their violation. The Competitive Sports Office phone number is 608-262-8258, and we are located in room 1025 of the natatorium. The best way to contact us is by email at imsports@recsports.wisc.edu. In the event of inclement weather, please call the Rec Sports Weather Hotline at 262-4756 and click on option 4 for cancellation information. We will do our best to announce cancellations by 3 p.m. on weekdays. If a team is wishing to cancel a game, they must have their team captain or co-captain email the intramural sports administrative staff at imsports@recsports.wisc.edu by 12 p.m. the day of the contest with their name, team name, league of play, and their intent to cancel. Once a cancellation has been granted, the request cannot be overturned. Cancellations made after 12 p.m. the day of the contest will result in the team being charged the $25 default fee. Phone cancellations will no longer be accepted. Defaults. If less than the minimum number of required players of a team have checked in with the supervisor at the scheduled location within 10 minutes of the scheduled time of the contest, the supervisor will declare the contest a default. All defaults carry a $25 fee, which can be paid online using your IM Leagues account. Eligibility. In order to participate in intramural sports, all fee-paying students are eligible to participate. Faculty and staff members are eligible to participate, but they must have a valid recreational sports membership. All participants should activate their account on IM Leagues prior to play. For more information, please visit our website at recsports.wisc.edu to activate your IM Leagues account. Participants may only compete on one single-gender team and one co-rec team. They are not allowed to play on 2 single-gender teams or 2 co-rec teams. Your job as captains is to make sure that your rosters are accurate before the playoffs begin, and rosters can be viewed at any time on IM Leagues. Players may be added to the roster at any time online at IM Leagues or at the game site, provided they are eligible and meet all the requirements. Any team that uses an ineligible player during the regular season will forfeit that game and any game that player was a part of. Any team that uses an ineligible player during the playoffs will forfeit the game and will be immediately dropped from further competition. Captains, make sure you please review your rosters before the playoffs start. All participants must have a valid UW ID card or Rec Sports membership card that swipes into Fusion. If a participant forgets their UW ID card, they can still gain access by using a courtesy pass as long as they have another valid photo ID or have a picture on in Fusion. Valid photo IDs include a photo in the Fusion profile, their driver's license, a passport, or any government-issued photo ID. Courtesy passes may be issued up to 6 times per semester for participants. This includes entries into facilities. Numbers are reset at the beginning of every semester. So if you were checking into the natatorium to play basketball, a courtesy pass would be given to you once you checked into the building and then also when you participated in the program. So in a night you could use up to 2 courtesy passes or more if you forgot your ID and didn't have a picture. This slide is just a breakdown of our sportsmanship rating as follows. Remember that you need at least a 4.0 to make the playoffs and to stay in the playoffs. Playoffs. Achieved a 4.0 average or higher in sportsmanship rating. and you have less than 2 forfeits, cancellations, or defaults, or any combination of the aforementioned. And make sure that you achieve a regular season record of 500 or better. Any team not given the opportunity to play 50% or more of their regularly scheduled games, example would be games canceled due to rain, will be placed into the playoffs. The day following the end of the regular season, a blank bracket will be posted in the morning. Teams will be ranked by their winning percentage, with the tiebreaker being accumulated sportsmanship points. Further ties will be broken randomly by the system. Starting at 5 p.m., teams will select their position on the bracket based on their rank. Focus on your team's best days and times to play throughout the playoffs more than the competition level. If a qualifying team misses their designated slot time, they can jump into the order where it stands and select at that time. Qualifying teams that fail to select their spot in the draft prior to its conclusion will be randomly assigned to an open slot by the league coordinator. Regular season games will not be rescheduled. Playoff games will only be rescheduled due to conflict with other intramural sports activities and academic conflicts, classes, labs, and exams. That does not include student organizations that result in a team not having the minimum number required to start the game. This is why it's important as a captain to definitely check your rosters before the playoffs start. Teams wishing to request a game to be rescheduled must submit a reschedule request form located on the Rec Sports website under the Intramural Sports tab by 12 p.m. the business day prior to the game. Proof of conflicts must be uploaded into the form located on the website. If a team feels an intramural sports staff member has enforced a rule or policy incorrectly, they must call a timeout immediately following the ruling in question. The intramural sports supervisor will then make a decision regarding the correct ruling and how to proceed. If the intramural sports supervisor is unable to make a decision on the spot, the game will be played under protest, and the intramural sports administrative staff will make a decision following the next business day. Only rule interpretations and player eligibility can be protested. Note, the judgment of an official may never be tested. The competitive sports staff reserves the right to eject any individual, team, or spectator who interrupts the flow of a game in any manner. Players may be ejected before, during, and after any contest by any recreational sports staff member. To regain eligibility, the ejected person must complete each of the following. First, prepare a written statement detailing the events surrounding the incident. Include outline of events surrounding ejection, actions that led to the ejection, assurance that the behavior will not occur again, suggestion for appropriate disciplinary action, and how the behavior will be avoided in the future. The statement should be sent to the coordinator of competitive sports. Secondly, they must schedule an appointment to meet with a coordinator of competitive sports, and their contact information can be found on our website. Please check out the Intramural Sports Handbook for further information. What's new for this year? Lots of rule changes throughout specific sports, so please read through all the rules carefully and relay them to your team before play. One of our biggest differences this year is in co-rec. The differential between male and female participants can be no more than 2 now. The old rule was 1, and we've relaxed that to 2. So make sure that you meet all of the other eligibility requirements. Also new, the Dr. Walter A. Wittich Scholarship. Any student who has participated in an intramural sport during the semester of the award is eligible to apply, but high consideration will go to those individuals who have gone above and beyond in the community, leadership, sportsmanship, and a growing appreciation of lifelong value of physical activity. The scholarship is a $400 scholarship that is awarded to any male or female student that applies and is selected. Things that are taken into consideration is participation in intramural sports while at UW-Madison, the leadership shown both in sport and on campus, examples of sportsmanship, and how involvement in the intramural sports program has influenced lifelong healthy physical activity habits. For questions or more information, please contact us at iamsports@recsports.wisc.edu. Goalies may not pick up passes from members of their own team. Goalies may pick up a ball that is headed back to them by a teammate. Goalies may not slide or dive at a player in possession of the ball, but they may slide or dive to block a shot and gain possession of a ball. Substitutions must be made during any stoppage of play. The substitute must get the attention of the official and then be beckoned in. All teams are required to provide matching colored team shirts. Color will be designated at the time of registration. The goalkeeper must wear a shirt of a different color of their own team. Shin guards are highly recommended, but not required. The following bullet points list a variety of acts that will result in an indirect free kick at the spot nearest of the occurrence. Each game will consist of two 16-minute halves with a 3-minute intermission between halves. The clock will run continuously until the last 2 minutes of the game, with the exception of timeouts. The clock will then stop on all whistles during the last 2 minutes. The clock runs but may be stopped due to injury or delay of game by a player or team at the discretion of the official or the intramural sports supervisor on staff that night. Time may be extended at the end of each half to allow for a PK. Each team has one timeout that can be used at any point in the game. If regulation ends in a tie, a 3-minute sudden death overtime will be played. If the game is still tied at the end of overtime, the game will be decided by a 5-person shootout. And at any point, if a team is ahead by 5 or more goals with 5 minutes left in the second half, or any time thereafter, the game will be declared a mercy rule. There are no offsides in intramural futsal. Any player who commits any of the following offenses in a manner that is considered by the official to be careless, reckless, or involving disproportionate force shall be penalized by the award of a direct free kick to be taken by the opposing team at the spot of the offense, unless the offense occurs in the offender's penalty area, in which case the opposing team is awarded a PK. A player who commits any of the following offenses shall be penalized by the award of an indirect free kick taken at the place where the foul occurred or on the nearest edge of the penalty area if the foul was committed inside the penalty area. This concludes the Intramural Sports Futsal Captains Meeting. Visit IM League's page for a complete listing of all the futsal rules. The Captain's Quiz found on IM Leagues must be completed with a score of 80% or higher before a team can be created. Feel free to contact the IM webmaster at imsports@recsports.wis.edu with your questions or concerns. Best of luck this upcoming season.